Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to American Outback. So, as I said, I was going to do a bit of work off camera, so I'll bring you up to speed with exactly what it is that I've done. Field 19 had a large crop of beets, so they've been harvested. The field has also been fertilized, then ploughed, then cultivated, and finally seeded with soybeans as well. Which also applied a second stage of fertilization. So we now have around 50% sort of approval with this farmer. We've done quite a few jobs and we've raised a nice big chunk of cash. As you can see, we're up to $273,936. And we've knocked around about 70,000 or so off the price of the field, which is great. And the great thing is as well, this field has soybeans, which matches the crops that we are growing on our own fields. So the plan will be, hopefully, to actually buy this field before it becomes, well, before it's ready to harvest, or as it's ready to harvest. We've still got two more, at least one more job that we can do on this before that, which is to apply that final third stage of fertilization. So hopefully we can raise enough money to actually buy this and harvest it at the same time as we harvest these two fields of soybeans as well, and get a nice big bumper cash crop. So if we head back to the farm, we're not going to be spending that money just yet. As much as I would love to invest that into more equipment, we're going to need that to be able to buy that field. So instead, what we're going to do is, if we look at our animals, you can see we have 100% cleanliness, 100% water. They are starting to produce a little bit of liquid manure, but still no solid manure, no reproduction, no productivity in terms of milk because they have no feed of any kind whatsoever. So we're going to go out and we're going to actually make some hay just to get our cows up and running a little bit. In fact, we're going to use, so we don't flatten the grass, we'll use this one here, this Optum. So we need our mowers, and we also need our tedder as well. There's our tedder. And we need to figure out where we are going to actually do the mowing as well. So let's have a look. We have a really big grass pasture here that we could work on. We also have a grass pasture just here opposite the sheep, and there's also some ground down here. So we're going to look down here first of all and check out this area behind the cows, see how good that is. We've also got grass within the cow farm itself, the cow field itself, but I don't really want to drive around inside there while there's livestock in there and kind of shatter the illusion that, we're not running, mowers straight over our cows. So we're going to enter this area here instead. Make sure there's no traffic. Okay, so let's lower the mowers. Unfold the front mower. Lower and unfold the tedder. Let's make some hay. So the one thing that you do notice immediately with the grass is that it cuts dark green. That's fine, I have absolutely no issues with that whatsoever. Some people have mentioned that it looks a bit weird. From what I understand, it is a texture issue that can't easily be corrected, but I don't see it as a major problem myself, so I'm fine with the fact that it's showing as dark green. If you actually plough a load of grass or a load of ground here and turn it into a working grass field, then you do find that the grass grows back green. Well, bits of green grow within the the field texture, as you can see. I mean, you can see there's little clumps of green here within this grass, but you don't have that sandy undercolour that you're seeing as the base colour. You have sort of the brownish soil texture that you would have for, you know, any normal worked grass field. So the fields can look a little bit strange if you turn them into working grass fields. I think we've got plenty of grass here that we don't really need to worry about that just yet. But what we're going to do is we're just going to mow up and tedder all this grass here. Then we're going to row it with our windrower, and after that, you know, we'll scoop some of it up. We'll put some hay in the feed troughs just to get the cows some food, so they at least are semi-productive to start with, and the rest we will actually bale up and turn into hay bales and store those ready for when we're ready to make some TMR, which is going to be a little way off. We still need to actually gather up some grass as well for making some silage, so we'll do that at a secondary meadow. We'll get some grass cut and we'll collect all that up and make some silage. But we're just going to be worrying about hay on this particular set here. So it's been a long night so far. Now getting the new series up and running. It's technically now Saturday. It's 20 past 4 in the morning. But I've obviously done some recording late last night to get the first couple of episodes done. Now I'm working on episode 3, which is this episode. And in between that, obviously, there was the hours of just working on field 19, getting the field harvested. Took a couple of hours. Then there was the ploughing. That took a long time as well. That took, you know, a good hour or so just to plough. And then obviously you've got to factor in the seeding and the fertilising and the cultivating that went in there as well. Quite a lot of time spent just off camera on that one field, but it'll be worth it once we get the chance to actually purchase and own that field. We will have a fully planted, fully yielded crop of soybeans to add to the soybeans that we'll be harvesting. We'll have to probably max out our loan, or at least have a big chunk of cash from our loan to actually finish that off. But that's okay, it'll be an investment, you know, we'll get that money back. Let's just raise that up. I need to make sure that that grass gets tedded. There we go. We'll get that money back through selling our soybean crop. It'll more than cover the money that we have to take out. As I said, we're on a medium farm, so with the right crops and the right volume, we'll easily be able to make a lot of money, which is good. I say we've got a lot of fields that we need to buy. We've still got some equipment that we need to buy. We need to have money available for when Big Bud is released, which is going to be in 2.5 weeks. We are getting closer and closer to the release of that DLC. Definitely looking forward to it. And that plough, that 10.5 metre working width plough is going to be invaluable on the large fields that we're going to be creating. It's going to make ploughing such a quicker job. And the great thing is as well, is the way that the game incorporates both DLC and modded equipment into contract work when you're working on other fields for other farmers. So it's a great way to be able to try out new equipment straight away without necessarily buying it. So if you do have the DLC and you have an existing farm but you don't have the funds to necessarily straight away buy Big Bud, but you want to try it out, find yourself a really big field. Do some contract work on that field and just keep clicking through your options. See what mission he offers you and see what equipment he offers you to complete that mission. If you don't like the equipment being offered, you can press circle to back out, then press your L3 to pull up the options again, see what he offers you in terms of equipment the second time, and you can actually cycle through all the different equipment and he will eventually bring out something that you might not have used before. It's a great way to actually, as I say, test out the equipment without actually having to pay for it. You get the chance to drive it, you get the chance to use it, and we're talking not just in terms of tractors, but also in terms of field equipment as well. So seeders, cultivators, plows, all of those things. It's great. I mean, the only thing you won't really get to use will be muck spreaders. For some reason, you never get the opportunity to use a muck spreader. Seems a bit weird, seeing as the farmers do provide you with unlimited seed, unlimited fertilizer for sprayers and seeders, but they never provide you with a muck spreader with unlimited manure. Okay, so we have a nice load of grass here. Let's go drop off the tedder, and we will hold station, and when we go and do the next field, we could well end up rowing it at the same time as cutting it. Let's drop these in first of all. So where is the rest of my grass equipment? Oh, we're in the wrong place, aren't we? Still yet to know my way around the yard completely without making any sort of mistakes like this. So, oops. There we go. That's the header dropped off. We'll leave the tractor just here for now. What we want is, we now want the Puma, and we want the rower. So as I said, excuse me, as I said, some of this hay is going to be used to feed our cows. I'm not going to fill up the food trough with 6 days worth, because we're hoping to have silage up and running by then. The rest will be baled. But the yield from this field, because it's native grass, it won't have been, you won't have the plough state bonus. We won't have the fertilization stage bonus. It will be just the basic default amount of grass that you would get on any native grass field. So we're not expecting huge amounts of grass or hay in this respect, from this field. So we're not going to end up with a huge number of bales, not a massive amount, just enough to give us a sufficient amount for creating our first batch of TMR. And that's another reason why I don't want to give the cows too much hay, because A, it takes away from some of the stuff that we're going to need for TMR, and B, I just want to focus on them having the right food, the food that's going to make us money, and I don't want it to sort of waste time just letting them eat through a food supply that isn't really going to give them that much in terms of a boost in production. Hay on its own will get them started, but it won't do enough. We are going to have to give them some grass as well in the grass trough. So we'll have to do that again when we go attack the second. The second meadow, so that we can actually get some grass ready for silage. We'll need to make sure that we gather some of that for the cows as well, for their grass trough. I'm not going to be able to get all that in one pass, am I? Nope. That's a bit of a shame. Yeah, I would like to have a merger on this field going forward, but it just isn't a necessity at this stage. These fields are quite tight, these little meadows, so turning space does make it a little bit more awkward, and in terms of working width, right now these this basic windrower will do us just fine. We don't really need to go any more high-tech than this just yet. We could potentially have combined these two rows, but I don't mind keeping them separated like this. It just means an extra 30 seconds of driving when it comes to collecting it all. It's not that bad. There we go. So now we can start running up and down the field as well. It does look strange. It looks almost like the wrong colour, seeing this green against such a contrasting desert ground kind of colour. It just makes it looks like it's the wrong shade of green. It just looks very weird. It's because we're seeing it in a completely different setting, with a completely different background, a completely different base layer. That's what makes it look so strange. And these windrows are much slimmer than what I'm used to. Obviously, using a merger, as I generally tend to do on most of my most of my basic playthroughs on private farms, then I'm used to merge rows which are much thicker and denser than these. You know, these are tiny little things compared to what I'm used to working with. But this is the downside of having this windrower. It's not huge, so it doesn't cover a large area, and it just pulls in 4 rows like this and pulls them into a single one. With the merger, we can pull, you know, considerably more grass in and stack on top of itself to end up with really, really big, thick rows, which make baling much, much easier. Okay, so let's work on this little top line here, so that we're well away of that fence. I've been thinking about getting this into logging quite a bit over the last hour or two. It's something I think is, you know, would be good on this map, but right now I think it's a little too soon. You know, we're still haven't even done our first harvest yet. I think it's too soon to go straight into logging on this map. I want to actually get some harvesting done, do some baling, get our cows properly up and running. You know, we have 50 right now. We are going to increase that number up to 100 minimum over the course of this series, probably closer to 200, 250 in total at the end. That's a little way off yet. There's no immediate rush. We have some cows to get us going. That's the important thing, and a decent number as well, not just 5 or 10 or 15 cows. You know, this is a big ranch. You know, so we need to justify having, you know, a decent number of animals to get us started. Okay, so we should be able to get that last pass in one single go, maybe? It's going to be close. That's pretty much perfect. And the great thing as well, actually, about having this grass and this this hay a different colour is that it really, really stands out. So we'll be able to see instantly if we have not, you know, collected everything, if we've left anything here on the field. It'll stand out and pop out a mile away. Alright, so we're going to merge these 2 rows together by the look of it. Oops. Wrong button. There we go. Oh, my knee is killing me. I've been sat cross-legged too long. There we go. So we are done rowing up our hay. So let's see. There is as good a place as any to get grass from. So let's drop this just here. Actually, this is a road that traffic does go down, so we'll park it just off to the side. We need to go back and we need to grab our loading wagon. So that we can start scooping up some of this hay. There we go. Turn on Do Not Disturb. My phone's been buzzing a lot. There we go. Silence the vibrating you might hear in the background. Notifications coming through from Facebook. So we'll just grab the border, and hopefully that will be all we'll need for hay. See how much we get. I don't really want to get more than about 10,000. Well, we'll see how much 10,000 actually. 10,000 probably isn't going to be that much for 50 cows. And we're going to need a decent amount of grass, and we're going to need, time to let that ferment as well. So, yeah, we'll do the full, a full lap with this border. There we go. So we get this line here as well, going along the top. It is kind of cool that some of these engines sort of, not engines, sorry, computer panels are, semi-interactive in the sense that, they do fluctuate. You do see different values popping up on them. They usually just tend to monitor revs and speed, and that's pretty much all they'll tend to do. Maybe going forward we'll actually see more in-depth displays in the base game version, in future versions of the game. So maybe with Farm Sim 19. Again, I think a fair bit... Excuse me, need to clear my throat here. I think a fair bit of what actually happens with Farming Sim 19 will depend on what happens with Cattle and Crops, which comes out later this year. I really do think that if that game brings in all the features that it's promised and does them well and goes over well with the with its target audience, I think that's going to promote the need for Giants to do something different with the Farming Sim franchise. Maybe add some extra features in that we haven't seen, that we've been wanting. The big pledge promise that the Cattle and Crops team made when they announced was, we've listened to what the Farming Sim community out there, the people who like farming simulators, we've listened to them and we've heard all the features that they want, and we're committed to bringing them in. So I think if that game does really take off and work well, that will obviously have a knock-on effect on Giant's own franchises. How can it not? Oh, we're on the way. Let's pull forward. Let's turn everything on. There we go. And let's get ourselves some grass. So you can see the immediate difference here. The dark grass looks even darker against the backdrop of this lighter, lighter ground texture. Looks so much darker than we're used to because it has such a contrasting colour underneath it. It creates an optical illusion. Turn there. There we go. So yeah, we're all about looking after our livestock in this episode, making sure that they have some feed and gathering some materials for future proper feeding as well. We're just looking to tide them over enough right now, because we still need straw for their bedding and also for their TMR, and we can't do that until our wheat field is done and ready to harvest. Alright, so if I raise my mowers, let's raise both sets, that's good. Oh, I forgot about the windrower there. Oh, I forgot about it again. I probably should have done my rowing separate from my mowing. Never mind. This could be tricky. There we go. Yeah, I really didn't think that through. Let's raise, let's turn off, let's lower. Just trying to think about making it easy for baling and for collecting. I think we really need a second border. It's a little hard sometimes to actually see exactly where the grass is. You need to have the camera at the right angle. In some cases, there you really couldn't tell, unless you were really staring really carefully. From this angle, you can obviously see, very clearly where the grass line is. So you have to be a little bit careful with your camera. I think going around here, what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to keep going in ever decreasing circles. just for ease of dealing with this grass. It's because the field is so oddly shaped, you know, with this 45-degree angle running along here. And it means we will have to do this and cut little corners and clumps of grass. Just ignore them. But that's fine. We don't actually need... Oh no, because we need this for silage as well, don't we? Because say we don't actually need to do the whole field, but we do because we need it for silage. I was thinking purely of the grass feed trough. So by now I'm guessing a fair few of you will have tried this map yourself. What do you think of it? Do you like the improvements? I personally love the changes that have been made to this map. I think it's a much more useful map now that we can actually make these really, really big fields. I mean, it was a great map before, don't get me wrong, but I think with the additions and improvements that Shu has made with this newer version, I really do think that this is a much better map. Having those much larger fields available to us is great. You know, I prefer having, you know, less fields but more, you know, more size to the fields than I do having lots of tiny little fields to work with. You know, lots of small fields is fine if you're able to actually combine them into larger fields. Otherwise it kind of makes some of the larger equipment just kind of obsolete and pointless. And on a map like this, you know, we're trying to create that feel of American farming. You need to have big fields. This is another reason why I'm really looking forward to Mustang Valley. You know, we still have very limited details. You know, it is going to be a really, really good map by all accounts. You know, I have seen some images from something in my shoe regarding the actual look and feel of the map. But he has not yet released any kind of image on the layout of the map, and he's keeping that deliberately secret right now. Yeah, that's his prerogative. You know, it's his map. We have to respect that decision. We are almost done. There we go. So there we go, we have a nice big pile of grass there. So let's go, just leave this guy just here for now. Let's jump back into our Puma. We've only got a few minutes of the episode left, so we're going to go grab enough grass to put in our feed trough, and this one we are going to fill up as best we can, because the grass trough is completely independent of the main food trough. So we want to make sure that we have, you know, a full 6 days worth of grass in there if we can. do some in-cab riding while we run around the boundary here. You can see the engine speed in revs per minute is fluctuating up and down. If we slow down, you can see the speed changes as well. Nothing else seems to change. Engine temperature, oil pressure, they are all pretty much the same. Let's see if I turn the engine off. Yeah, see, they don't change at all. It does show you engine hours on the screen readout there. Look, though, that's kind of cool. Oops, I forgot by turning off the engine, we also turned off the loading wagon. Let's turn that back on. There we go. So yeah, with the leaked details of Mustang Valley, well, I say leaked, the details that Shu has provided us so far with Mustang Valley, it's promising to be a real hardcore American experience. You know, with fields that big, you know, we're talking hours of work at each stage. I mean, ploughing a field that size, my God, that's going to take forever. Harvesting a field is going to be a long job, but ploughing a field that big, you know, without a 10.5 meter plough, if you only had a 6 meter plough and you had to plough an 80 hectare field, oh, that would take you best part of half a day. It would take you an absolute eternity. I think that's going to be a great single player experience, and I think it's also going to be a great multiplayer experience, but I don't think it's going to make a great single player let's play experience. I think it just could be too big. There'd have to be so, you know, it would take so long to achieve anything. You know, if you had to break it up into 30 to 45 minute episodes, it would take you 10 episodes just to see the field. It would take forever. So I don't think I'll be doing it as a let's play. I'll certainly be playing on it. Yeah, I'll be playing on it a lot, you know, as a private farm. But as a let's play, I just don't think on consoles it'll work as a let's play farm. You know, unless you do a multiplayer, and multiplayer is always so laggy on consoles anyway. Even before you factor in crappy internet, you know, it's still a laggy experience. So, as a multiplayer let's play, you know, I don't think I could pull that off either. Maybe, we'll see. I'd need to build up a decent network of reliable, trustworthy farmers to actually jump on and help on with that one, if I do decide to do that as a multiplayer. But I would also need to kill off one of my existing farms to do that as well. You know, I have, including this, I now have 4 farms running on the channel, and that is more than enough. You know, it means that every farm gets at least 1 episode a week. Most of them will get 2 episodes a week. But I can't justify adding a 5th farm. Plus, it takes away from future content. If we get a dry spell and we get a run of no maps, then when one farm naturally reaches its conclusion, we have nothing to replace it with. So, 4 farms is going to be the absolute maximum. Ideally, I will probably end up trimming it down to just 3 farms anyway, and then, you know, keep it at just 3. And that way, every farm will get 2 episodes every week, and then a day off of farming. Of course, yeah, that won't affect the other games. They will all be run, you know, at their own pace and released on their own schedules, and they will sort of always be released alongside farming content. Farming content is still going to be the primary focus of this channel going forward, despite all the other games I have lined up waiting to play and add to the channel. You know, it's all about the farm sim as the primary focus of this channel. Okay, so let's add our grass in, and then we'll be about ready to end this episode. So, how much grass have we got? We've got a decent amount of hay there. That's not bad. I like that. Oh wow, we've got plenty of leftover grass, look. I thought they would actually use up more than just over 20,000 litres. I really did. I'm stuck. There we go. Alright, so the rest of this will get dumped in the silage clamp. And we can start making some silage. And there goes my buzzer for the end of the episode. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. Please, drop a like if you've enjoyed it. It's always great to get a thumbs up on your content. Lets you know that people are enjoying it and appreciating the work you're putting in. Please do subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't already done so. And don't forget, you can always share the content with your friends as well. Help get the word out. Let people find out about this channel. And as the audience grows, it enables us to do extra things with the channel going forward. Alright, so there we go. So yeah, thanks again for watching. My name's Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on the farm very soon.